I'm Chris Mennig, and I've got next.
You next up and you ain't been on Sportslifetalk. Like, what are you doing? Hey, you better hit him up. Look, you breaking next and you up next. Keys and queens go hard. Rising star on the big scene, make them know who you are. You don't break a sweat, don't settle for less. They put you through that test, your resume that flex. Who got next? Who got next? SLT, ready, say go. Who got next? Who got next? Living my dreams and all your goals. Who got next? Who got next? You can ask B. Jones or head coach. Who got next? Who got next? You next up, so here's my vote. Chill.
Yeah, let's go, SLT Nation. What it do, fam? Welcome back to another fire episode of Sports Life Talks. You got next. That's right. This is a platform that gives exposure to the voices of tomorrow. It's our 6th year doing this, y'all. In over 1,000 episodes, we have decided to coin this year, this exclusive year, Savage Season. Why? Because we are talking to some of the dopest, most savagest players, coaches, and personalities in the women's basketball community. That's right. We continuing that mission. We going all around this country, and we're finding rising superstars who are doing big things and accomplishing big dreams. Today we got the man, we got the myth, we got the Montville legend in the buildings, ladies and gentlemen, with over 30 years of experience capping it off on the sideline, doing events, and just making an impact in many, many, many lives of players that we see right now in the WNBA. This man has been a part of Blue Star 30, the McDonald's All-American Committee, and oh, by the way, he coached at many different levels of Division I basketball. Y'all make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. He is time for a new era, and we are bringing it to you right now to the front. Welcome to the new Balance's P32 and E32 director, Chris Mennig. Well, how you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, no, this is a special one. As a matter of fact, we can't even go any further without announcing that this is 1,000% a nominations video. That's right. Everybody pays it forward, and we got a good one on deck. If you've been wondering all these circuits and what's cooking, just wait. We about to serve y'all a dish today that you are going to fill your belly. Hey, listen, if this is your first time or your next time, allow me to reintroduce myself. I am your host, the mouth of the South, B. Jones, the OG, all things Louisiana. Put your L's up. Mr. Yeet is in the building, and I'm rocking alongside my brother from another mother. He is the other side of the You Got Next logo, the Quiet Storm. Shh. All facts, no cap. The head coach, KT, Cam. You feeling it, man? You ready to do this?
I don't think it's enough airspace, B. Jones, for you and I to both be that excited. So, warm and mellow. I'm gonna let you have all the energy, but hey, let's turn up for New Balance, man. This is new. This is a new era, like you said. Let's go.
The Lady P32. Let's go. We put it all on deck for y'all. Y'all know how we kick off every episode. We're going to have some fun. We finna do an icebreaker with Chris. Welcome to the moment of truth. All right, the rules are super simple. Y'all have played this game before. It's 2 truths and a lie. Before the show, Chris has picked 3 unique facts about himself. Here's the catch, though. KT and I don't know what they are. You don't know what they are. But we're about to work together as a team and see if we can figure out if we can crack the code and see which one of these facts about Chris is absolutely not the truth. Somebody put 60 seconds on the clock. Soon as he finishes, we'll have our guests ready to go. All right, Chris, give us your 3 facts.
All right. First one I got for you guys is I was actually a women's college soccer coach at one point in time. There's one. The next one I'll give you is I started coaching college basketball when I was 23 years old. And the last one, I had a tryout with the Milwaukee Brewers at one point in time during my journey.
Ooh, man, first and foremost, Kevin, it's we need Caitlin Clark on this one to shoot from the logo because I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. All right, so I'm gonna say this. You from New York? Baseball is big in New York, bro. So he could have had a baseball influence, and you know what? You could go pro in the baseball from high school. So I'm gonna say that one is correct, KT. 23 years old. I'm gonna say that's the truth. I'm gonna say he tried out for the Brewers.
Okay, I'll roll with you.
23 years old. He said he started coaching. Now, if he's been coaching,
College.
Oh, well, coach,
that's what I said. I started coaching college at 20.
College. Okay, so the fact that he don't have any hair, that leads me to know he's had many stressful nights. So we gonna say that you've been coaching since 23 in college.
Yeah, but he also coached in high school too, B.
Remember I said that's when I started coaching.
That's when he started. That's when he started coaching college.
That was what you're trying to decide to figure.
So Kevin, it's out of soccer in 23 years. Which one are you feeling? We always say the numbers. The numbers always gets us. But we running on like 5 seconds left.
Well, the number's not gonna get us this time, B. Jones. Let's go with it.
All right, Coach Mennig, we gonna say that 23 years old, you was either older than that or younger. That is not the truth. You did coach soccer, Division I, and you tried out for the Brewers. Which one was not the truth, Chris?
Well, first off, I didn't coach Division I soccer. Let's be clear. I was an assistant at a Division II soccer. I was a Division II assistant, but that was my coaching experience coaching soccer.
Okay, so we got that one right.
Yes, I did have a tryout with the Milwaukee Brewers. So I started coaching. The lie is I started coaching college when I was 20 years old, not 23 years old.
Yeah, we got the W. Man. We got the W. We back in the W column. That is all that matters. We're not gonna give y'all our record until we get back to 500. we are sub 500 right now. Real quick though, Coach. Brewers. Tell us, were you good? Like, were you a batter? Were you a pitcher? What did you try out for? What position were you?
It's a crazy story. I started my coaching career in Lincoln, Rhode Island. And I coached boys soccer, girls basketball, and girls softball at a middle school. And I was taking my softball team out to a hitting range, at a cage. And there was an old guy there, and he saw me. I was 19 years old at the time, and I played. I was a decent little player, when I went through my high school season. And he's like, "What's a young guy like you messing around with these, middle schoolers?" And told him my story. My dad had tried with the Yankees when he was younger and coached me all the way through. But anyway, he said, when you're done, he goes, stick around. So he threw me in the cage after the kids left and let me take some swings. And he's like, look, there's going to be a closed tryout here in the state in a few months. Get your ass in shape, and I want you to be there.
What?
And, yeah, it's crazy. And so I did. I was doing everything I could, and I was an outfielder. Second base was probably my second position, but it was just it was one of those things. And I was always motivated by the fact that my father had that story to tell me, his experience, and I just crossed it off that I wasn't going to have the same one for my kid, but for me to be able to stumble into it, I'm do believe in God, and I just think sometimes these things just happen by accident. I mean, and then guys, what's the first pro game that I take my son to go see?
The Brewers first.
I'm from New York. It was the Brewers.
Yankees Brewers.
Yeah, it's like one of the odds of stuff like that. I just I've been very fortunate and blessed along my journey. So that was a fun one though. But yeah, that was right place, the right time, and heck, that's what recruiting's all about.
Hey, won't he do it? that is a won't he do it for real. All right, Chris. Well, we're going to take him on a road trip, man. Today is all about you. This is going to be a VIP road trip. So you know what you got to do on this story. You got to take that right hand. Come on, reach it up for us, Chris. Come on. Reach that right hand over your left shoulder. Grab that seatbelt and buckle up. Click, clack. Let's go. Oh, my goodness. Listen, we are talking to a community of people that love women's basketball. They love lady basketball, and they love girls basketball. If you are one of those individuals, we need your help right now. This is a call to action. We want to grow this platform so we can continue to tell more stories like the one we got here today and the one that we've told times over again with so many amazing people. You can help us by doing 4 free things that won't cost you a penny. Number 1, hang out with us to the end of the show. That's a simple one. Number 2, hit that like button. My grandmama always say cream rise to the top. We need this show to bubble all the way up to the top. I'm talking about number 3. I need all my point guards out there, people who love to shatter rock, to share this show, distribute it to your friends, your family, your coworkers, your classmates, your colleagues. Let's run the numbers up and tell the world about this lady P32 circuit that is about to pop off this upcoming summer. And last but not least, tell them what to do, KT. Subscribe to the vibe. That's right. Become a part of the SLT tribe. Join our family as we continue to march on into 2026 and beyond. We promise y'all 1,000% energy, night in and night out. Chris, is Martinsville going to come? Is Chicago coming out for this one? Is the Brewers going to come out? You bringing the city out for us, Chris? Are we going to get some love on this episode, man, with you signing off on it?
We'll find out. We'll see. I won't be Munnsville. I can assure you of that. There are more cows than people in that town. But, we might get some of my Chicagoland people.
Hey, if the cows got an account, hey, let's sign them up. Let's get that subscription. All right, here we go, y'all. Y'all know what to do. We're going to do this in unison as a family. In the count of 3, smash that subscribe button in 3, 2, 1. Boo! Oh my goodness. It feels good. Man, I'm feeling like $1 million right now. Chris, we want everybody that just smashed that subscribe button to let us know who they are by throwing an emoji in the chat. You got to tell us, man. I know your text messages right now. You probably just got finished text messaging Dawn or Kim or somebody like that. You probably got a text right now. What emoji are you using the most, man? What's your favorite emoji?
My favorite one, I feel like, honestly, it's either this one or this one.
You can't go wrong with either one. I think I use this one more than anything too. So, Kevin, which one? We're gonna do either or. You could do for the first time. You could do 2. I don't care. Do one or the other one. The see no evil or the I don't know emoji. Throw it in the chat.
I would say it's probably this guy.
Yeah. Throw it in the chat. Let us know you out there with us today, just so we can tell you how much we appreciate you. Kevin, what we gonna tell them if they throw that see no evil emoji in the chat, man?
We're gonna tell them thank you and welcome to the Sportslifetalk family.
And by family, we mean no fans. We don't do fans. We don't do followers. We do family. We mean that to the heart, and we appreciate you so much. So, as our first official act as family, we want you to go to Twitter. That's right. Go to X and hang out with us. Kevin, do we have a yeet tweet for today's episode?
No, we don't be. I was trying to.
I do.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I got a yeet tweet for today's episode. Since this is a New Balance exclusive, New Balance has a roster of some amazing, talented players in all kind of sports and genres. I want to know right now, what does the Sports Life Talk family feel? Who is their favorite New Balance athlete? Is it Kawhi? Is it Cam? You know what I'm talking about? They got some big time names out there. Even the young lady in tennis. And Cooper Flag. So who are y'all rocking with right now from New Balance? Who is your favorite athlete? And then we might talk some sneakers later on in this episode. I don't know. We gonna do something here. But
can I give you mine? Can I give you mine?
Yeah. Who is yours? Start the debate, KT. Who is your favorite?
It's Cameron Brink. That's
Oh, easy. Yeah, that's women's basketball. Okay. Hey, she be handling them in the commercials too, dog. She be handling them in the commercial. I like Cam as well. All right, make sure you go to X, hashtag Yeet Tweet Tag KTNI, and we're gonna give some random person a hoodie or a gift card. We're gonna do something for some random family member that goes in there and gets that debate rocking and rolling. All right, Chris, you waited long enough, man. It's time to cross the burning sands. Welcome to the Sports Life Talks initiation.
All right, Chris, you made it to Sports Life Talk, but before you officially family, you got to pass the initiation. First test, the aux chord. So give us your top 5 music artists.
Top 5 music. It's all over the place from what I used to listen to, from, grew up with LL Cool J and Billy Joel and Eminem and DMB, but, recently more Bruno Mars and, Burner Boy and what have you. So I'm all over the place, man.
First and foremost, that 5 is truly all over the place, but wait a minute. I'm doing this. Burner Boy?
I know.
How did Burner Boy and Billy Joel get on the same list?
I'm telling you, I told you I'm all over the place, man. I've been to Africa 15 times. So
Really? Yeah. So you International Chris. That's his new nickname. International Chris. All right, man. Kevin, I know a little Burner Boy, but of course we gotta rock with some Bruno. So what do you go give International Chris for that top 5?
All right, Chris, I like to rank everyone's top 5. The highest you can get is 24, which is the Mamba. The lowest you can get is 8, which is the floor. That's our dedication to the great Kobe Bean Bryant. Bean Jones, the Burner Boy, kind of threw me for a loop. I didn't see that one coming at all. You know what we're going to do for Chris, man? We'll give him 22. Give him 22 for the top 5.
I like the list, KT. I like the list.
Yeah. But we need more LL Cool J. He's one of the founders.
Who was DM? You said DMB? Who was
Dave Matthews Band.
DMB. Kevin, do you want to change it? Do you want to add some points for Dave Matthews?
Yeah, man. Come on. Especially, I know Louisiana's giving me love with him.
Space between. I love this. I'll give him one more.
All right, there we go. Got the MJ.
All right, yeah, I love Matthews Band.
He loves Dave Matthews.
Right, Chris, so who's your favorite superhero and why?
Favorite superhero? You know what? Honestly, growing up, and I still am pissed they ain't put out a good actor for it. Is Green Lantern. It was my favorite growing up, man.
Hey, and honestly, I feel like he's one of the most underrated DC stars too, because they won't do his movie, like you say, they won't give him a proper movie. But he cold. He's one of the more powerful ones.
Yeah, I always enjoyed it. I just thought he was a unique one growing up as a kid, and like I said, and it wasn't like Ryan Reynolds wasn't a star to be able to pull it off. Just unfortunately, I think the timing of when those were coming out just wasn't something our country was really ready for.
But I don't think it was the timing with that one. It was the villain.
Yeah, good point.
Everybody knows that Sinestro is his main foe, so you need to start off with that, or at least have him in the movie.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, we asked the superhero question because we see individuals of your caliber as a superhero. And we know that Hal Jordan has his own theme music, but what would Chris's theme song be?
Well, if it was definitely something coming out for baseball or something like that, it'd probably be like TNT or Here Comes the Boom from like The Longest Yard or something like that.
Here comes the boom. I like TNT. I like both of those. I'm with you. I would get excited if either of those came on.
I think Here Comes the Boom. I think that's one we would go with, though. I think that's the one.
Yeah.
All right, Chris.
I keep trying to get my son to use that one.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is something that basketball has taught you that you can use when you're not on the court?
The thing I've always said at camps for years is, right, it's how to compete, right, and how to handle adversity. That's the part I love about the game, and if it's taught the right way, I think can really help educate young people about the sport that way, because that's what you're going to have to deal with in life. You're going to have to compete, and unfortunately things aren't going to go your way. So you're going to face adversity. You're going to lose a loved one. You're not going to get the grade you want. You're going to lose a job, boyfriend, what have you. How are you going to respond in those moments? In the sport's quickness, of those types of, I think that instinctual part of how you respond to those negatives, I think is one of the one of the great parts about the sport. Again, if it's taught the right way.
So B and I, we're going to produce a movie that's centered around you. The one thing that we're missing is a lead actor. Who should we get to play you in the story of your life?
I prefer Jason Statham, but I'll take either.
We going Jason Statham. We going Jason Statham on that one. Hey, you gonna have some fight scenes in your movie though.
Couple chases probably. Yep.
Yeah, you have to use a basketball to defend himself. You'll clear out a whole room of naughty villains with a basketball.
Either that, or you could, you got the halftime locker room talk in the locker room. There, he's ripping the doors off, making sure that people got his attention. So
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure we can get Jason to do the movie too. He's pretty versatile. He'll pretty much do any movie. So I think we can get him. All right, Chris. So I think this is the most important question that we asked during our initiation. B and I, we love to travel. When we travel, we got to get something to eat. So we come to Chicago to kick it with you. What's that one food spot we're going to? And then tell us your go-to meal there.
Yeah, we're definitely going to RPM, either RPM steak or RPM Italian. Those two they're up there and definitely something you'd enjoy. And, the food at the Italian place, it's as good as you're going to get unless you're going to Italy. So it's, for me, that's kind of the go-to spot for sure. If I've got to really show somebody a good time up in Chicago.
I like the Italian spot for sure. What's the dish you getting, Chris?
And I don't know if you can get past the meatballs as an appetizer. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you get a couple of those and orders of that, and you're probably good to go for the night. So I mean, it starts right there. I thought my grandfather was the only one that made meatballs that good. Shit, these guys are on another level. It was so RPM.
Sign us up.
Yeah, I guess I won't talk about my spot, B. Jones. I don't want to get.
Please don't do that.
And listen. I know we're talking about Chicago, but let's not fool ourselves. That deep dish pizza ain't nothing compared to New York pizza. Let's just be clear.
What Coach? I gotta be skeptical when it comes to Chicago. I almost had a near-death experience in Chicago, so we had to tell you that one later.
All right.
I need you to sign off on them.
So B. Jones, what was that? The pizza or the beef tips? Which one was it?
It was some barbecue beef tips, I think. But it was horrible.
You should not be doing barbecue up in Chicago. Come on,
yeah, it was man. It
Kansas
gave me
City, Texas.
Yeah.
It was like 10 o'clock at night, Chris. I thought we got to go to the hospital. This man was almost out there. So, we'll tell you about that later. All right, so to everyone that's watching, thank you for rocking with us. The initiation is complete, but now the real conversation begins. And we want to hear from you. Drop your top 5 music artists, your favorite superhero, and your go-to food spot in the comments. Don't forget to tap in and go to our website, sltugotnext.com, to discover more of our amazing You Got Next family members. Chris has survived the initiation, and that means one thing. It's time for me to pass the ball to B so he can officially reintroduce our newest play cousin. So go ahead and take it away, B.
Chris Mennig, welcome to the show. One of the most influential individuals in the game, especially on the women's side of basketball from the grassroots perspective. And I'm going to tell you guys who are watching this right now why this is a special episode. Chris, you've been behind the curtain a bunch, man. So thank you so much for coming out front and sharing your voice, your experience, and some of these amazing things that the community should look forward to. So we appreciate you for coming on, man. Let's get it kicked off and take it back to the beginning. Let's go back to whether it was Munnsville or Chicago. I don't know. You fell in love with the game of basketball somewhere. Tell us, Chris, what made you fall in love with this game of basketball?
Yeah, I stumbled upon it. Basketball was not one of my best sports in high school, obviously. And during my journey, again, got to coach middle school when I was a sophomore in college. And then I worked a bunch of camps that next summer. I applied to almost every college that next summer of working camps across the Eastern Seaboard. And nobody took me except for Providence College, Bryant, where I was going, and Brown University. So those three were the only camps I got employed at. But Providence had a head coach, Bob Foley, who was there, and he started coaching when he was in college and took a liking to me. And I became a student of the game. He let me steal VHS tapes, bring them back to my dorm room, and I'm just soaking it up. Mind you, my high school team was 2-20 something my senior year. So I didn't really know good basketball from my high school experience. But obviously baseball I had some success at. So anyway, and that was kind of where it started, and really enjoyed it. And then I got lucky my junior year. I get a call from my dorm room in October. The head coach at the University of Bryant, where I'm going to, calls and says, "Hey, I lost my assistant to a D3 job. I remember you from camp. Do you want to be on staff?" Not as a student manager or anything like that. Because again, back then, all the assistants were part-time. And, I tried to play it off like, well, I need to think about it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? I'm about to coach the girls I'm going to class with, and to break in at that young of an age. And then first event that I ever went to in recruiting was Washington, D.C.'s USJN event. So I'm there, at that event in D.C., and I'm looking at all these 25 and 26-year-olds, and I don't know shit about shit. And I'm just thinking, you know what, if I stick with this, nobody in my age bracket will ever have as much experience. And I decided to stick it out. And you have to remember, the WNBA was just starting. UConn hadn't won their first national title, yet at that point, or was about to. And, and so I, kind of got in at the right time. It was just starting to kind of become cool, the sport for at least the mainstream area a little bit. And so I wrote it out. And then that next summer, I applied for a bunch of summer camps again to go work. And next thing you know, I'm working Seton Hall's camp. I'm working UConn's camp. So I got to be around, and those guys, Rebecca Lobo and Jen Rosati, those guys are the same graduation class as myself. So I was out there playing pickup with those guys, after their first undefeated season, get my ass beat by, Nikisha Sales and Jamel Elliott just whooping my ass, like my scrawny little ass. Oh, so this is what championship basketball looks like. So, I was kind of, it was a great time for me, and it really, again, being mentored a little bit by Bob, and then getting to see Gino and getting to see that formula of, I think what people see on TV is obviously far different than what you see off camera, and how to be successful as a male coach in the space, and kind of that, one of my favorite lines I'll use, and I know it's, maybe not completely politically correct to say it, but it, as a male coming into women's basketball to start coaching, what I will tell them after my 30 years of experience is, you have to earn the right to swing the 2x4. Meaning, women want to be coached up, but you have to earn the right to get to do it. You got to spend time and get them to see that you're there for them beyond just basketball, and that you're going to help them grow in multiple areas of their life besides just the sport. And once you do that, they'll run for a wall for you, and it's awesome. So to get to see that at a young age, I was fortunate. And yeah, so that was kind of that early journey. And then, I graduated, and the school still couldn't make a full-time position, at Bryant. So I was doing assistant women's soccer and assistant softball and assistant basketball and everything but mopping the floors. And then Brown hired me, and brought me on as a third assistant. My old man, my dad was an executive at Oneida Silverware. Oneida, you may have it, and that's why he sent me off to a business college. And he worked his tail off to achieve that. And here he's got a position for me back at his company. I'm like, no, this is going to work. I'm working Gino's camp next week. What are you? You're a fool, you know. I mean, and I leave Bryant where they're paying me to go to Brown in the Ivy League to take a third assistant position. And back then, those positions didn't pay. So I'm leaving a $10,000 position to take a 0 position in the Ivy League just to get a Division I on my resume. So I'm working at Foot Locker and substitute teaching and umpiring game. I mean, I'm hustling, living in a basement, literally a basement of a family's home with cinder block walls, a water bed, and a TV. You know, I mean, that was me, and I was happier than a clam. You know, because I could say I was a Division I coach. You know, making no money. But I couldn't be more thankful to Jeannie Burr at that time at Brown, and you know, and really the deal was all I asked for when she hired me, and she remembered me from camp, you know, that first camp, that first summer that I'd worked, and she gave me the shot, and the only deal was I asked her to pay for me to go to the Final Four. She could get, I heard that's where to go to get a coaching job and network, and I said, if you can just get me there, I think I can get somebody will scoop me up. That's what I just felt. And then I was able to get, I mean, I wasn't even at Brown for 12 months. Jeannie is funny. She's retired now, and her line, because she used me as an example for other assistants through the years of look at what you could do with your career from just this opportunity type of thing for young coaches coming through. Because I got hired at St. Bonaventure that next year, but Jeannie would say, I still had the footprint on my forehead from you coming through, you know, and it was again, I couldn't be more thankful. So here I am in the Atlantic 10, you know, now on staff at, I don't know, 22 years old, 23. At that point, I felt like I'm going to have nobody to blame but myself. You know, to get to that level, you know, and, you know, so I was there for 3 years, made plenty of mistakes. I think all young evaluators, you know, you need a few years. Yeah, one of my things I try to articulate about evaluating, and I know I'm going off on a tangent a little bit, but I think this is great for viewers to hear this.
I was about to say, this is gold. When I sit back and I just enjoy the podcast and I'm watching it, I love these stories, Chris. So let us have it, bro. Keep going.
Well, I just think I watch so many of these college coaches come out and watch, and they're not really evaluating. I mean, for the most part, they're babysitting. And one of the things that I did because I wanted to hone my craft was, don't just watch the one athlete that you're there to watch. Evaluate the other 9 athletes and just jot down a little bit. Division II, low 1, mid-major, low BCS, whatever. When signing date comes around, that's your report card. Check yourself. Nobody has to know that. And that's what I remember at Bonaventure at that time. I remember writing a kid down at D2 and she went to Villanova. And I'm like, oof, boy, man, I was way off. Like, you know, and again, I'm 22. I don't know. I'm still figuring it all out. So by the time I left Bonnie's, you know, we signed, you know, the Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Year. And I got a chance to work with Jim Crowley in his first year, and Jimmy's back there at Bonaventure, and he is a true Bonnie's guy, and thankful to get to work with him for that year when he started to take it over. But him and Steph Collins, you know, and our staff, we had such a bond with this kid. Nobody knew who she was in the country, and we were all sure that we wanted her. And of course, you know, I think some national ranking thing had her as like the, you know, 220th point guard in the country or some crazy thing. And the kid ends up being the A10 Rookie of the Year.
Wow.
And during that time, we also signed the leading junior college scorer in the country. And for me, one of my little niches, she was from the Czech originally, 6'4" Czech Republic kid. We were converting letters to her in her own language. And you have to understand, back then, finding that technology isn't as accessible and easy as it is now. So that was kind of cool. You know, we had BCS schools all wanting that kid, and we got her at Bonnie's. So I had a couple of nuggets on my early resume by the third year, and I had the opportunity to then interview at Penn State with Renee Portland. So at that point, I'm 20. I guess I'd be 25, 26, and here I am now getting interviewed with a Hall of Famer and Renee. And Illinois State University was head coach was interested in me and bringing me out. And she was someone that I had met from that. Crazy part is, met her at that very first Final Four convention that I got to go to when I was at Brown. She was the head coach at Portland State at that time. And she eventually became the head coach at Illinois State. And she wanted to bring me on earlier, but I wanted to stay with Jimmy that first year at Bonnie's to get him off the ground. Anyway, go to Illinois. So the Penn State thing helped me leverage Illinois State a little bit more. They end up making me one of the highest paid assistants. I'm the first man ever hired in Illinois State University women's basketball history. And so, yeah, there's that. There's a few. That'll be a great chapter for all of you to read in my book someday, is that chapter for those 2 years. But it was a great opportunity. Again, signed 6'5", 6'4", tallest kids ever in Illinois State. Another Czech Republic kid. There was another big time JUCO kid. Yes, I did the same trick, writing her letters. I say trick, but I was writing her letters.
International,
be able to connect with that kid.
That's that international.
Yeah, and brought a Canadian with me. Again, there was one other school that was really recruiting her. Brought Katie Donovan down with me when I came from Bonaventure, and I knew about her up there. Got her to come down to Illinois State with me, and Katie, by her junior year, she was one of the top 3 scorers in the nation, and became a pro. And helped lead Illinois State with Robin Pinchton when she came on to tons of success. And then I got a chance. So at 28, I get hired by Illinois. Got brought in there. We signed 2 top 25 recruiting classes. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was a cocky little punk. I thought my shit did not stink at that point. I mean, I just climbed this ladder. I'm there before I'm 30 and still signing better kids. The joke was, right, I never saw one athlete that I recruited to college, unfortunately, ever graduate. 2 of the programs have top 25 turnarounds after I left. So obviously the talent got upgraded, but I never got to actually get to see it and enjoy it. So that was always my joke where, you just got to bring me in for a couple of years, then get rid of me. You'll be fine. But yeah, and then at 30, and again, mentorship, Teresa Grentz, Hall of Famer, both women's and the big one, Naismith and in Massachusetts and the big one. So to be around her was awesome. Just a great experience. I joke how, you have the little cartoon, the devil and the angel. Yeah. Coach Grentz is my angel for sure. I'm always thinking, what would she say? All right. Okay, T, you're right. Yep. Because she always got me to take the high road. That cocky punk, she would keep very much in check, that Philly girl. So I'm appreciative of that. But then at 30, I finished second for St. Louis University's head coaching job. And you got to understand, Kevin McGuff was over at Notre Dame as an assistant. Skylar Diggins did her first unofficial with us over at Illinois, going to one of our games up at the Bulls Stadium up there.
United Arena?
What's that? Yeah, sorry, United. Yep, United Center. Sorry,
United Center.
And and she came up to there. So, all of us were kind of climbing that. Mike Neighbors, same thing. Like we're all just climbing that ladder at that time. And I was, those guys. Kevin's like, relax, man. You're gonna get your gig. And I was dating a girl in Chicago at the time, and Loyola Chicago came open, and that was a bad job at that time, and pay wasn't good. And they end up hiring a girls high school coach because they needed a female so bad for the job. And that's when I snapped. And I tell everybody, Mike Flynn and USJN and Blue Star just got me at the right time. I was just like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going over here. I knew I was young enough and resume was good enough and cocky enough, like somebody will take me, and so I left, so I'm leaving close to 6 figures and take a 20 and a question mark, and everybody thinks I just fell off the turnip truck.
Wait a minute. I gotta stop. So when you say Mike Flynn and Shannon Blue, you're talking about individuals that are not coaching. We're talking about now we're getting into the evaluation of the younger athletes. So you had to take a chance to start your career on the sidelines.
Leaving the sideline and becoming an event operator and all that. Yes. I mean, Mike Flynn. So Mike Flynn was the original owner of USJN and Blue Star basketball. And obviously the first companies, right, in girls basketball to do those things. It's camps, events, mid-'80s, early 90s. He's the first one to care about all that stuff before anybody did. And, people's got a ton of opinions of Mike. And as I always say, good, bad, or ugly, they probably got one of those 3 opinions of him. I always say that he's the dialed-down version of Sonny Vaccaro. That's Mike. In the women's game. That's his reputation.
That's huge, though. It's movies made about Sonny.
That's the reputation that Mike carried. But also, so like I say, he the platform as a college coach, we all knew. To me, it just needed a good old-fashioned once-over and a little bit of love. And obviously, my business background and polish there, I felt like, you know what? And again, in 2005. There wasn't any events. A lot of the events we were all having to go to were out east. And we were all getting on planes as college coaches in the Midwest, right? Deep South, Boo Williams, those were the big events out in the Carolinas and in Virginia. So I got lucky. I had a high school that was willing to make me a full-time sub, a private school that Teresa's son went to, walked in that gym. And they didn't have a banner hanging on the wall for any sport in the place. And so I had that as kind of my steady. I knew there was at least enough money to come in to keep the roof over my head. Whether I got to ever leave the building to do anything, I didn't know. We'd see what happened with all this tournament stuff. And camps. So, and again, I was making close to 90, I think, at that time. In the Big Ten before jumping ship. And I had interviewed at Central Florida and some other colleges when I was trying to decide, am I really going to do this or should I just go to another college? So yeah, I was talking to Michelle Joseph when she was at Georgia Tech even at one point. So it was, so did that and was at that private school, and USJM was 6 tournaments at that point. Probably one of the more prouder things that ever occurred in my career, built it. After 6 years, we got to maybe about 20 tournaments. I'm very open about it. I tell people it took almost 4 to 5 years for me to get to financially where between the school and doing camps and all those tournaments, like financially, I was getting myself back to where I was. It didn't happen right away. But yeah, and then out of the blue, Arizona State University. So I ran tournaments one whole year, and this would have been in 2011, right? So 2011, I run tournaments all year long. We get to the fall, and I get a phone call in the fall from Joe Anders, who's an associate head at Arizona State. He's like, "Hey, you want to come back and be a college coach?" I'm like, huh? What are you talking about? No way. And so ASU, Charlie Turner Thorne at that time was our WBCA president. And, Charlie took a 1-year sabbatical, to spend time, recharge. It'd never been done in women's women's basketball. I thought it was actually potentially had the chance to become something really cool for our game. We have so many, great women as our leaders that are moms, families, long-term success in those programs. Like, if they've had it, take a year off, go reach. I just thought it could become maybe something that we could see down the road. But either way, it was just an 8-month contract. And it's funny, anybody that's ever gone through the college side, they can appreciate the joke and humor of this. Because when I was meeting with the associate AD, I joked to them. I said, well, are you guys going to pay for the moving expenses going back? Like, you have to understand, in most college jobs at that level, like, they're going to pay for your moving expenses to there. But normally then you get fired. Right. Or somebody else hires you.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, well, we knew it was an 8-month contract because Charlie was coming back that spring. So I'm like, well, you guys going to move my stuff back at the end too? Since, I'm literally just here as a Band-Aid.
As a Band-Aid, right.
And Don Bakke, gosh, probably one of my favorite and best administrators I've ever met. And man, nobody more passionate about the Sun Devils, and probably my best reference. He joked and said yes, but at that point it was perfect. It was just what my ego needed. I was having success as a high school coach, and to me, it's athletes are athletes. You're still motivating them. You're trying to get the best out of them on game day. I don't care what level you are. I think at the core, the teamwork and all those other things, but at the core, the job is to get the most out of each of those little bodies on that night. It doesn't matter, during the week, all those other things. Am I getting the most out of them on that night? And so to be able to go back to that level and be able to help Joe and the staff, and it really gave me a ton of freedom while I was there. And I was in charge of defense and post players, and happy to say the post player broke a couple of Pac-12 records, and we broke a few records in defense at the Pac-12 as well. So as I always like to say, we showed everybody we knew just enough to, not look like idiots. So we way overachieved as a team, and that was a fun time. And everybody thought I was going to go back, right? As you can imagine, right? I'm telling everybody, no, I'll be back running tournaments in the spring. I'll be back there. Of course, a lot of people thought I would stay and go somewhere else, and even my high school team. But I did come back, and the tournament stuff continued to flourish. My high school team, proud to say, then went on to a state championship appearance that first year when I came back from Arizona State, and then the following year went on to win a state championship, and that was basketball utopia, as I like to say. That was just one of the funnest experience of coaching, with the kids.
That should have been the two truths and a lie right there. The championship, winning the championship. We definitely would have missed on that one. So let's jump into this event thing.
I know. Sorry, that was a long day. Sorry about that, guys.
But it was necessary.
I haven't talked about that in a while, so that was kind of cool.
It's good. It was necessary, though, Chris, because that kind of, like a lot of questions I had written down, you answered a ton of them, and that kind of gives us a little bit of the background as to how you move and how you operate and why this is so important to you. Because these circuits, everybody, we as the consumers, we complain, man, the tournament's so expensive. But at the heart of this thing, it's really about helping these young ladies achieve their dreams and helping them to get evaluated. And you have front row seats, and you have the experience to understand not just about putting on a tournament where it's comfortable and seating and safety. Those are all important, but you are able to put certain people strategically in a position to where they'll be noticed and they'll get those opportunities, whether it's at the D2, whether it's at the NAIC or whatever the other different divisions. But let's talk. I want to jump into the New Balance thing. Because when you look at your list, USJN, McDonald's, Blue Star, all of these are the most highest level or the most highest credentialed, most respected established organizations in the women's game, and now you take on. And when we talk about the sneaker wars, you know, you're talking about Sonny Vaccaro. We talking about the sneaker wars. We know that New Balance is that kid that's running up the rears, and you taking on another difficult opportunity. You talked about taking on Loyola, Chicago Loyola.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing it again. You're doing it again. You're taking on the job, the responsibility, the task that very few men or women are willing to take on, Coach. So tell us, why did you, after all 30 years plus of experience and impact on this game, why did you decide to take on this New Balance project?
One, I love building things. I am guilty of that, and I do become bored sometimes. And after that championship, I'm proud to say, helped a couple of other high school programs build and hang a banner and do stuff as well. So I am a sucker that way. But honestly, after meeting with the boys director, right, Josh Woodson, he's the one that really started the P32 premise on the boys side 2 years prior to. So he had just finished or was in the midst of his second year running his league on the boys side. And the more I kept hearing, I just felt like the corporate level and what the commitment and what they were looking to do and how they were kind of approaching it, I felt like it was all right. We can get in the mix here. Like, this isn't a pie in the sky, like, you know, because nowadays it takes more. The give and the ask. And listen, again, to give you a little bit of the history, you have to remember, you know, I think it was back in 2009 or around there, right? It was just Nike, Adidas, and Blue Star. We were the only three leagues in girls basketball right up till almost COVID. Now, there was a fake Under Armour league that happened, you know, but it wasn't anything like what it is now. And they came onto the scene right before COVID, if my math is correct in timeline. So you have to understand, up until that, you're talking almost 10 years, it was just three leagues, and we were one of them. So a lot of teams that were Blue Star teams became EYBL teams.
Right.
You know, USJN ran EYBL events. You know, we were kind of that kissing cousin for those guys for a long time. And when we were at the top of the heap, I can assure you guys that grandmas and grandpas could afford to go to these things. I can assure you, for colleges to go, they weren't paying $1,000 to come watch. They were paying a fair price of maybe $400 or $500 for an event that had 400 teams. You know, 800 college coaches, all the best players. Now they're being charged $1,000 just for one coach. So, you know, the corporate greed of what's happened since COVID, and I make no bones about it. I tell everybody, I mean, 3-Step came into the space. I'll say it on air. When they came into the space, they changed the whole landscape. I mean, it just, you got guys running stuff that have never called a meaningful timeout in their life. And then you wonder why people can't afford to go watch it. So now the people that are, I know. I
gotta ask you. No, I love it.
My East Coast came out a little, but it's
we
true,
do have
and
these
it's sad. It's basketball. How do we take the sport that was supposed to be the most affordable for families to be able to have an athlete play in it, and now make it where they can't afford to play basketball?
1,000% agree. That's the biggest complaint. As we can sit there we go to the media table. You know, we go to the media. We blessed because they give us media credentials so we can come and meet the coaches and meet the players and the parents and stuff. But we sit there at that table and we hear some of the prices that go to. Like, I saw a family of 6 one time had to swipe a credit card for $350 just to go watch a day's worth of tournament. And it's just 6 people. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, they can charge $50 to $60 per person to go enjoy.
Pre-COVID, sorry to cut you off, but just to give you an idea of numbers in case somebody's watching. Pre-COVID, for a 3 to 4 day event, you might have been paying $55, right? For a weekend pass, for a 4-day NCAA, 800 coaches coming to watch event. Now you're lucky if you can get it for under 100.
Yeah, for real. So Chris, you on wax with saying this, so you already know you're about to start getting some nasty text messages from some of your counterparts in the industry. But
listen, the guys that get paid by them, like, those that are under the tree and stuff, I got no issues with those guys.
Right.
Like, they're not the ones calling those shots.
But we're going to talk about New Balance. We're here to talk about. So are you telling me that the New Balance experience will be more affordable for the families?
Well, we're the goal is to make sure that we're one of the lowest priced, for sure, for the college coaches. I can assure you of that. That's one thing for sure that I'm trying to do. Here's the problem, and I joked with the old owner, right? The original owner, Mike Flynn. This was the guy that started all this, and I gave him a lot of shit about this for a long time. How did you build this model this way? Why didn't you follow volleyball or any of these others? See, the problem is our club community does not want to pay a fair entry fee price to help cover the overall expenses to run these events, right? We want convenience. We want these big convention center spaces. We want all the college coaches want everybody under one roof, and those buildings are not cheap, and bringing courts in aren't cheap, and all those types of things, but everybody still wants to, and when that industry started to do that, nobody wanted to change what they were paying for entry fee prices. And so, of course, when we were at the top of the heap, well, how do people pull people away? Well, you give them free candy.
Right.
Or free entries and free hotels and money and all those types of things. And it became the boys' side after COVID. And so as that starts to happen, well, the income has to come from somewhere at some point. So it's coming from the colleges and the parents. And my joke is always, my joke is kind of been, you can't tell me you're in it for the kids when you charge $85 for a hooded sweatshirt. You just can't. So, yeah, our hooded sweatshirts are not going to be $85.
That's awesome.
College coaches are not going to pay $1,000. My intention is to put a price where it's actually a price and it's for the entire staff to be able to come watch.
Right. Well, if they
want to pop in for a day or two or whatever, then they can come and go. They don't have to contemplate and think, oh, do I want to spend another $500 for that third coach to go over and watch after I've already given them $1,800? Like, I don't want that. I don't. And so we're going to combine it with the Blue Star report as well, right? So they're getting access to that in the database. So if they're part of that, right, some of the events will even be free. So we're going to try. The admission part with the parents is tough. I can't lie. I know that we aren't going to be as crazy as some of them. I hope is to be a little bit below the market number of what everybody's doing. But again, that is the numbers have to come from somewhere.
Yeah, and you got to be able to afford the event. You got to be able to put it on.
It's hard, and I don't like it one bit.
Well, I will say this though, at some point, value and cost kind of have to run side by side. They have to kind of connect with each other. And off the early reviews from what I'm seeing in the marketplace, you are going out and you are acquiring some really reputable teams to be a part of this P32. So when we talk about P32 and E32, that's what 64 teams or 64 organizations that you've done your job in recruiting to bring on. So we will have at least some talented players and some talented organizations. For example, Hoop Code, who nominated you, Sean Green. He nominated you. Yeah. That's an example of a program that I personally feel will have Kevin, 3 All-American caliber type players right now on A15U, and they coming over there. So that alone. will pay for the cost of admission. If you want to see those young ladies as they grow and develop, because in the next 2 years, they're going to be certified problems. I'm talking about they're going to be the real deal. And that's just one example of how you are already putting some amazing talent in the building. What has that process been for, like going out and getting these teams, these directors, getting them bought in to the P32 and the lady? Let me make sure. Yeah. Let me put some spec on it. Let me put some branding on it. The lady P32 and what you guys are going to be doing this summer.
Yeah, it's been humbling. Listen, everybody raided my kitchen with my Blue Star League. Let's be honest, that I could only give so much. So when all the free candy came around after COVID, at a certain point I had to pat my club directors on the ass and wish them well, because I just couldn't match it as a private company, and what they were given. And so we didn't lose people because we couldn't run good events or that I didn't know what I was doing or any of those things. It's just too much, Chris. They're just giving me too much. And I couldn't argue with that. So for me to be able to pick up the phone finally and feel like I could fight apples to apples a little bit. And I didn't mess with EYBL at all. Didn't call one coach, nor do I have any intention to ever call an EYBL director. And I've told the EYBL director, Jill, that on the phone, told her that I have no intention to do that. There's plenty of other fish in the sea, and I'm very respectful of the time that I had with Nike and what they helped do for our brands. But I did feel like, all right, and I knew at that time most of the Adidas programs contracts were ending and they were having to get renewed. So I felt the timing of it all was good. There was an opportunity there. And again, at that time, the model, and I'm not sure what Adidas has done since with their model of how they build their travel teams, but I knew what it was. And I felt like, all right, we're going to be able to outdo them in some capacity. And then it was just going to some of those directors that I knew and that had trusted me. And that's why I say it's been humbling, because right at the end of the day, they're trusting me. I mean, it's a trust factor. And, my consistency, I like to think through the years of never really changing. I'm happy to say it lended itself to this and I never got into those political phrase like Mike and, AKA the Sonny Vaccaro of women's basketball. I just didn't get into all of that. I just kept my nose down and tried to provide a product really more for my college friends for years. And that's how I always looked at events, right? If I was happy with them, then I knew the college coaches were going to be happy with them. Now to run events at this level and what people expect, the pomp and circumstance of it all, I mean, the bells and whistles and all of that's needed to keep the parents happy and just to make them feel, and again, those costs it's layer upon layer compared to what it used to be, again, pre-COVID. And who's paying it? Because it ain't the entry fees. So between the banners and the logoing and the stickers and the everything, I chuckle at it because it really, at the end of the day, does it really. But I also remember at the core of what Tony Dorado, who's with Nike for years, always said, it's an experience for them. Always think about not just the event, but also the city that they're going to. What things can you do there while they're there to expand that? I'm the trust, and I think also the fact that I wasn't trying to do anything too crazy. Let's build it around what's already going on in the space, right? I'm not taking them to Nebraska for a league stop. Right, I'm not taking them to the other side of the country where it's hard for college coaches to get to it. To me, I never understood some of that stuff. Like,
where will y'all be? Give us the New Balance locations.
Yeah, the first stop. Listen, April viewing period for anybody that's watching it right now. Right, with the portal situation, Division I coaches. If you see Division I coaches at your event at the April viewing period, you're doing well, because that's. Portal visits can be going on while this is happening. So it's a hard time for a lot of them in the juggling act of it all, which is why we're practically giving it away for free and we're giving the D2s and D3s even $100 for the entire staff to come, those types of crazy prices. So yeah, I mean, we're just trying to make it. So we're in Milwaukee there. We've been there for years. We've got the big tent, the Patty Broderick and the officials camp there for the kids. So they're getting high quality officiating, because 2 out of our 3 stops have college officiating camps. So from a quality standpoint of experience, you ain't going to beat that. I'm sorry. And then May, I've always felt, is the hardest viewing period, just with graduation, spring sports. So I told our clubs, go do what you want to do what makes sense, do what's easy, where a lot of these directors are making them do more and more and more. I was just like, go do what you want during May. And then July, we start off in Cincinnati at the convention center. And I've been planning this for almost 3 years. I did not know that I was going to have New Balance in my lap. I thought I was just going to be bringing USJN and Blue Star to Cincinnati's convention center because they've had a 2-year renovation going on. When I took over the companies, I unveiled an event at the old St. Louis Rams football stadium. And that was running so we did the, greatest show on turf, but for basketball. And that was going head to head with Run for the Roses. And that, sorry for my lack of vernacular, but that went over like a fart in church for a lot of my competitors. They did not like seeing me do that, but I felt like me taking over, this was my opportunity to try to do something a little more affordable and reasonable, right?
Yeah.
We knew for years, and again, those of you that maybe aren't watching or not understanding, listen, when the recruiting calendar got consolidated down to a 4-day weekend, well, the men's side, this is how the men's side operators pissed off the men's college coaches. They started running events outside, the windows and charging them these exorbitant amounts of money. And they're running the same tournament with the same teams and double charging them, if that makes any sense, right? You'd run an event on the first 2 days. You have the same 2 days, run the same teams on the second day. These operators, again, after COVID, started running stuff on the dead period days. And they started to make what was supposed to be a single event over the course of a 4-day weekend with the same kids and being charged a fair rate. Well, now you're running 3 and 3, and you're making these teams play on dead period days just to get more gate and more parking and more hotels and all of that. And it became such a money grab. So Cincinnati, that was the purpose of trying to do St. Louis, where it's like, no, just travel in on a Friday and go back on Monday. Wait, what? I don't have to be there Thursday and play? I don't have to be there on Tuesday and play? Like, no, why? Nobody's going to be there. So anyway, as we go to Cincinnati, I knew that was going to be ready. I was working on that, holding that down. And so we went from St. Louis to then we went to Dayton, Ohio last year, knowing that I had Cincinnati coming. And I call it the Devil's Den because it's right smack in the middle of everybody. Louisville is right where Roses is, and you got Select and the hedge fund guys and
Indy, right?
No, over in Ohio in the suburbs of Cincinnati.
Okay.
And then you got Adidas over in Indianapolis at that time.
Yeah, they'll be in Indy.
So,
okay.
Right. So you got all those. So here I am downtown Cincy. I'm right within them all. So it's going to be easy for coaches to stop in as long as I don't make it ridiculously priced. And what
about finals? What about nationals? Where would that be?
It's in that we're doing in Chicago. And I made a late minute pivot there because Nike chose to stay in Chicago. And that last period in the girls' game up until now, there really hadn't been what I call any kind of triangulation amongst the operators. UA had been in Pennsylvania. Adidas had been in South Carolina, right? Selecting those guys stay in Ohio, at Spooky Nook. And Nike was in Chicago, right? So nobody had put two next to each other close to make it easy for colleges. And so at that point I thought, but then UA decided to come down into Louisville, Ohio, and not be in Pennsylvania. And so at that point, right, those guys were hedging their bets in that region. And I thought, okay, instead of us being in Washington, D.C., which is what I originally had put, because USJN had always ended in D.C., there was a lot of nostalgia there. My directors loved the idea of resurrecting D.C. and being a part of that. Again, that's the longest privately owned girls event in all of basketball, 40-some years old, and was the granddaddy that was getting 1,000 coaches before everybody was getting 1,000 coaches. So, anywho, I then made the decision once Nike decided to be in Chicago. I had an 8-court facility held that's about 15 minutes from them, and decided to pivot us to there. Talking to the directors, we felt like, again, all right, UA and Select are going to be over here. Well, let's put us over by Nike over here, so it makes it easy for coaches to pop in and see us.
Well, you made it easy for Sports Life Talk to pop in, because I can't wait to get up there to some of those events. Well, like you said, Cincy's right down the street from Run, so you in the vicinity to really get this thing cracking. I know we went way over time, Chris. So
sorry, that's my fault.
No, it's I love it. But we know your time is precious, so I just want to finish it with this. What will make this is year one of the Lady P32. What is going to make this summer successful for you? What should we look forward to out of this New Balance circuit this season?
I do think what we're going to unveil, some of the uniqueness of how we're going to be able to market some of the younger aged athletes compared to the other shoe brand leagues, I do think is going to be a little more unique. That was one of the things that really intrigued me. When you're already talking about NIL stuff for 8th and 9th graders, I mean, that's just kind of crazy to me, but that is the nature of where we're at with some of this youth space and some of the things that we're able to do and brand them a little bit sooner than some of the other ones. I think that I'm excited to do that. I'm not going to show my whole poker hand right now, but in that regard, I'm excited to see what that looks like on the back end of it, because I think it's going to give our directors, right, some ammunition, because they're going to be able to go to their regions and their states and be able to say, hey, look at what we can do, to help elevate their platform. Because again, unfortunately, it is a look at me. And that's the hardest part of the sport. And I say this at every camp, right? The game rewards selflessness in team play, yet everything off the basketball court, everybody is about look at me. It's why the game is so hard to teach right now, because it's such polar different messages that these young people are getting on the court. And, I'm excited to help be a part of that journey with some of these younger athletes and even whatever chapter that looks like. And, but I am proud to say we've got over 40 athletes with P4 offers. We're right around that number right now for first year. So, and that goes all the way down to 8th graders. We got enough, that can dribble and chew bubble gum in the gym. I think they're going to want to stop by. So I'm excited to see what it all looks like. But I appreciate you guys having us. I'm sorry I got the gift of gab.
Don't you apologize?
I got the gift of gab. So I
that's what this is about. This is necessary. That's what this is all about. We all gonna get you out of here though. So I normally ask what is next for you. I think we already know what's next for you, Chris. But I'm gonna give you that one last, sound off. Or what's your message to the directors who are watching this, and they may be curious about, is this something they need to look into for the next year or down the road, becoming a part of P32? What is your message to those directors, and also to the parents and the players who they've been told that they got to be EYBL all their life because that's the only way college is going to see you, or you got to be UA because that's what the coach is going to be? What is your message to those directors and to those families as to why they need to be paying more attention to the Lady P32?
Well, first and foremost, I would tell you that any director that if you're 9th grade and younger, and any director's telling you that you have to be in their league or this, that, or the other thing, it's a bunch of BS. Find the best teachers of the game in your area, in your space, and just focus on that through 9th grade. Don't get caught up on the early rides and all that. Just who's teaching the game. You got to make sure your chops are good, in those early stages, or the other stuff's not going to be there at the end. And I think everybody gets too caught up with, trying to get to the spotlight instead of just making sure that base is solid enough so that growth pattern will be there the right way. So I don't care what league it is. It just doesn't matter, in that light for those younger ones. But beyond that, I do think, and this is why I aligned, I think, we've got almost 13, 14 leagues in girls basketball now. Come on. I mean, it's so watered down. You got Little Bingo's All-Stars League out there somewhere. I mean, come on. It's a joke. So I think I want to believe that the club community before the turn of the decade is just going to stop chasing something that's just not there for these weaker leagues. Don't fall for it. Just do what makes sense for your kids in the region. Go to the events that are best for your region. Don't get caught up in this, well, if I'm not in a league, then I'm going to lose my kids. Okay, then lose the kid. Focus on those kids within the region and the events in your region that make sense for their recruiting. Not flying, 15, states away. Now, if the platform's there, now, if you're a Division I athlete and you're a Division I program and you're trying to explore and push those envelopes, that's a different story, and that's where the shoe leagues, they're the ones that are going to hang around the longest. And so for me to be given this platform, I'm humbled, I'm excited. If this is year one, and if we can execute, and we get some solid college attendance and the social media looks good and some of the things that we're doing, I'm excited. And it's not and the other part that's important to know, it's not a stock option company, right? New Balance isn't a stock option company. It's a family owned company. So the decision making is done for a lot of different reasons. And that's the kind of cool part about it, where a lot of the other ones are having to make some harder decisions for a lot of different reasons. And like I said, I'm excited, and I'm having to clear out the wardrobe, man. eBay is awful hot, man, with a lot of my old new Nike stuff. So 20 some years of wearing the swoosh. I mean, I can only give so much of away to churches and what have you, Salvation Armies, but some of that stuff barely been worn. So anyway, I appreciate you guys having us, and we're a resource.
We're excited,
and I think it's great what you guys are trying to do to build the game. So anybody that's caring about girls basketball, we got to give them as much love as possible. So
thank you so much, KT. Let's go, bro. You know what time it is.
Chris, do you have any shout outs you want to give?
Man, just honestly, all those college coaches that gave me a chance when I was younger in my 20s. I mean, and I've had the good fortune that 3 of them, if you can believe it, 3 of the 5 that I worked for were inducted into their Hall of Fames at their respective schools. So I got some great mentorship and appreciation for the history of the game. So, and obviously my family and just they grounded me, I think, the right way. At least I've tried to like to think so. So, but yeah, that's we'll leave it at that. But
all right, so this is the part of the show where you get a chance to call up the person that you think should have next. Tell me, I got a chance to rock with B. Jones and KT. Told them my story, and I want you to do the same thing. That said, Chris, who you calling out? Who should we have on next?
I like the idea of flipping it. Since it was one of our directors that threw me here, I think I'm going to flip it to one of our other top tier directors, and I'm going to go with Bernard Hollins, Nard, with Always 100. So he's a travel team coach out of Indy, Fort Wayne area. He was in the Adidas program. He was one of the top 4 Adidas programs last year. Yeah, and took the leap of faith with me early on, and and I know he spent some time out in Arizona as well. So I like the idea of, all right, it came from there. I'm going to send it back there, and then we'll see maybe if he sends it back our way.
All right, Coach Hollins, Director Hollins, it is official. Your ticket just got punched. You are now on the clock, sir. We got to get you on this show so we can keep the Lady P32 vision and mission moving forward. And plus, we know a little something about Always 100. We've had Always 100 athlete come on our show. So, Coach, we can't wait to meet you. And one thing left to do, get your top 5 ready and find us somewhere to eat. We gonna do it big when you get on this joint, man. Chris Mennig, you got next. You are the truth, man. You are so dynamic. Hey, you call it the gift of gab, but I like how you are just telling us, keeping it real, the genuine authenticity that you are bringing to the game, man. Hey, speaking of Always 100, you one of the real ones. You are Always 100, and we appreciate you so much for being on there. I can't wait to be at the tournaments and to see this thing unfold live and in living color. You are extraordinary, sir. You are elite. You deserve a yeet. Hey, I'm hyped, man. All right, hey, this has been a blessing. This has been an amazing episode. We want to thank everybody out there that's watching. I know we got 32 directors. Is it 32 in each? Is 32 the same teams for the E32 and the P32, or is it 64 different teams?
Look, the Big 10 and the Big 12 weren't married to those numbers. I sure as heck ain't going to be married to them. So.
I got you. I love it. Hey, look, if we show 24 in the building, it don't matter. We're going to get some amazing basketball. But shout out to all those directors and those individuals who took a chance on something new that I think that if one thing I learned from this story today, you took chances throughout your whole career. That's the message. That was the message. You took chances, and now it's time to see other people take chances and watch something flourish big. Hey, thank you so much for being on here, Chris. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget, throw the palm over the face, the see no evil emoji in the chat. Let us know you out there. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. At Sportslifetalk is where you can find us. We always dropping content. We're gonna make sure we pump this one got so many chef kiss tidbits. I don't know. This is going to be one that y'all going to see on the socials for quite a while. If you want to be on the show, if you one of those kids right now that's on the New Balance circuit and you like, hey, get me on, get me on Mouth to the South. Let me tell my story. Go to our website, SLT, You Got Next, right above my head, yougotnext.com. Click on nominate. Tell us a little bit about yourself, why you feel like you got next, and KT going to reach out to you and give you an audition to be on the show. And last but not least, keep the podcast rolling. Download the show in the audio format. And keep all the laughs, all the inspiration. Over 1,000 shows. We've had WNBA players, college All-Americans, and we even got some more All-Americans coming your way. So stay tuned for the next 1,000 episodes, because it's going to be absolutely amazing. Yeet tweet Kevin, favorite New Balance cover athlete, or favorite New Balance sponsorship athlete. I don't care if they tennis or whoever, golf. They got some golf athletes on there. Let us know who your favorite athlete is that's repping New Balance. And I don't know, man. Tell me your favorite pair of New Balance shoes. Chris, you got a favorite pair yet? I know you're new to the sneaker game. You got a favorite pair? All right, you might have put us on game.
I'm still breaking. Give me another 4 more months. I should be good. I'll be able to rattle that off at a lot quicker pace.
All right, y'all. KT, man, let's go home.
Chris, thank you so much for rocking with us. Whatever you need from us, please let us know, and we got your back.
No, you guys doing great. I appreciate it. This is great, and I'll be sure to pass this along to a lot of people. So keep it up.
Hey, Chris, here comes the boom. Here comes the boom. Sports Life Talk Nation. We love y'all. Stay safe. Be blessed. Respect each other and love one another, because together we are better. And listen, tough times don't last, but tough people do. So keep dreaming big. You never know. Your story may be the next one featured on Sports Life Talks. You got next. Yeet.
I knew you had next, because you always working, you always grinding, you're in your bag because you're always working. Like, in due time, I knew you got next. Oh, you did learning how to crack the code. You got next, you smashing goals. You want next, you need exposure. Well, Sports Life Talk got the baddest show, like the baddest hut in the room. Podcast to tune into just for you to talk your shit. Talk your mushroom. You are what you eat and you should consume. Sports Life Talk from the late night to the afternoon, then rest repeat. Hit the like, leave a comment, or subscribe so you don't miss a beat. You got next is a small taste of a winning meal from a chef type of celebrity. What's up next is you, at least you better be. Yeah, you got next, yeah. I can feel it, you're a winner just like me. You got next, and what comes next? Tune in next time and you'll see. Cause if you got next, yeah, if you got next, if you got next, then you're just like me. If you got next, if you got next, yeah, if you got next, then you know where to be. I'm talking Sports Life, talking this. Yeah, 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 yeah. Sports Life, talking this.